back, fellas, to episode 2 after a good weekend for the NA and a little bit subject on the little rough, I guess, on the NA3 side. But either way, we'll jump right into it, guys. Joe, we'll start with your weekend. We had 3 in New Mexico, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
3 too many.
3 too many, but 6 points coming home, which is not a bad gig.
Yeah, it was awesome. Played really well Friday night. Gave up a few too many grade A's, but played well. Saturday night got off to a little bit of a rough start, but really found a way. Got some good goaltending. Michael Manzi was really good Saturday night. And then Sunday, it was probably our most impressive game. I thought we were down 2-0 after one. And Brandon Coughlin got into a fight. We were pretty dull, pretty flat up until that point, and I think he got some emotion going with that. And I thought once that started, we really started getting going and started skating and took the game over from that. And it was a pretty gutsy effort, I thought, on Sunday. We got some guys that are under the weather. Frankie the Blanky there, he's at home in bed, and love you, Frank.
Frank the Tank.
So all in all, it was good. It was really good. Always good to beat New Mexico at any point in time, but coming home with, that's our 6th straight game we beat them, which that's not an easy task against anybody.
Against anyone, but they always got a good product. They really do. Like Foxy does a good job, and he always assembles a pretty good team. But I tuned in yesterday. I watched all 3 games, but we had our games here, so it was kind of tough to follow. But I watched yesterday, like you said, coming first period, we're down 2. I was like, holy moly! Went and got my hair cut, missed the second period, and then it was 2-2. And that third period is probably one of the better periods that I've seen all season put together, as far as a 20-minute.
Yeah, I honestly, I thought we were great. I thought the first, I didn't say anything. I think you guys know me well enough to know we played like that in the first period, and there's somebody's getting an earful at the end of the first, and I didn't say nothing. We're right in after Christmas, and we just left them alone. I think there's some leadership in there that's really stepping to the table. In a really good way. Eddie Shepler's done a great job, and some others, so he's just to name one. But you know what? At that point in time, they knew they were a little tired. We're playing at 6,200 feet, which, walking up 3 stairs and, I'm out of breath.
well, that's why we got the 20 stairs here for you to go up on a regular.
I'm still waiting for that little mini elevator.
It's coming.
But we were really good in that third period. Like, we didn't give them anything. Yeah. I'm going to say if they had a grade A, maybe 1. I felt that we just kept coming. Yeah. Lund scored the goal with 4.5 to go. Yeah. And then, whatchamacallit gets run over at center ice. It was a collision. It was a bad penalty. It was going against them, but Reed and
so was that like it didn't show on the camera like
it was an accident. It was an accident, but both of them, it was a hard hit. Yeah. And then I went down to see him right when he came up. He was all right. And Zeus said he was all right. I said, okay, go back out.
Yeah, you're good.
He flipped one over everybody's head down in the net to make it 4-2.
So a year ago, that curl to the left would have went a curl to the right and missed the, would have missed the net by about 3 inches. Yeah, absolutely. And we've talked about that in the past about puck luck, getting some bounces, and I guess we kind of are getting them a little bit this year, and it's fortunate, which, it's been frustrating over the last 2 seasons, but we're starting to see it now, which is great.
Yeah, I agree. What's that?
Maybe you could share a little bit of the wealth on that. I don't know.
Yeah, I would love to. Well, but I didn't call you this weekend. You know that, right?
Well, but no,
I wasn't asking how you were doing because I knew.
You do. Well, when you can't, so we'll jump to you a little bit. We'll go back and forth, but Friday night was tough. Yeah, and you could see guys. It was first game back, so to speak, and week of practice, but practice is what it is. You can only get ready so much, and there's nothing like game, energy type thing. But it's we had some bounces, but just wasn't going in.
Absolutely. And, New Mexico comes guns ablazing. They're on you, and the intensity is just, so impressive. Our guys know what to expect, but we just weren't,
Yeah, and they do
prepared
they
after.
they do a good job at the NA3 as well. Like they really, really do. I think they're coached well.
Yep.
They're
great.
disciplined. Darren does a good job, and they're pretty disciplined.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they stay out of the box as much as they can. They move the puck well. They got 2 guys on our defenseman at all times. I mean, we struggled to get the puck out, and coming out flat-footed definitely didn't.
Right, and
didn't
playing
help us.
against that netminder, he stood
I
on.
mean,
He Saturday night he stood on his head big time. He played well, and obviously Friday night he didn't let anything in, and which is good because we saved some CO2.
Yeah.
We'll have some for this
welcome.
weekend. Hopefully we can get to blow it off a bit. But I'm just
You
taking a
guys are
shot.
home
But
this weekend?
3,
You're at home this weekend?
Yeah, Mid-Cities.
Oh, so you're going to win by 10.
I don't know.
Oh,
Mid Cities beat
yeah,
Did they?
the Brahmas.
Yeah.
So like
Chaz Michael McMichael coaches that team. Shout out to Chaz Michael McMichael. He doesn't like that.
I was just had a conversation with Mr. Allen, the owner, about 10 minutes before the podcast, just talking about the upcoming weekend, and what a great person Mr. Allen is. He's such a nice man. He really, really is. And they're trying there, so it's good. But first game, we no intensity, no energy.
None.
What happened going into Saturday? Obviously, there's conversation. For the listeners out there.
I got here at I think 7:30 in the morning and cut video and watched the game twice and got the guys to come in early, do a dynamic warm-up stretch, a little bit more than we normally do, and then we did probably a half hour of video, and then another full team stretch, and we just got dialed. We were dialed on Saturday, and obviously it didn't go the way we wanted it to, but it was a better effort.
Much
you
better,
could definitely tell that they had their heads on straight for sure.
And what about the atmosphere in this place? Both
it was-
Friday but Saturday especially, it was unbelievable.
You can't beat it. I mean, I told the guys on Thursday, I said, hey, I don't know if it's going to be packed or if it's going to be empty, but be ready for it because if it's packed, it's going to be loud. And it was packed both nights. And, when we put that one in on Saturday, it erupted. It was unbelievable. The guys were like, I've never seen this before because, we don't get a ton of sellouts, but when, our fans are the best. They're the best.
We've had, Joe, we've had this conversation, and especially when we had both teams. We've always drawn well with one team. When we started the second team, we weren't really sure how long it would take to catch on, yada, yada, yada. But we've been extremely fortunate with the attendance for both teams. Like Friday night was, honestly, it could have been a sellout. If you wanted to be that guy, but we were a little shy,
Well,
but
we
it was
wanna be
still
that
huge. Yeah, right. But
Yeah.
well, yeah. Anyway, but the second half is normally better for us, but we've been fortunate first half, even in this season and even last year, really, and especially with both records that both teams are doing well, and people start to feed into the buzz, and as we kind of get down the stretch, it'll be really, really electrifying in here. I believe that.
I'm looking forward to it.
How is the atmosphere in New Mexico? Because you don't get to see a lot of it. You see a little bit of motion, when you go back and forth
There's
with
only,
camera.
you know what? I was on the phone with somebody, I don't know, Friday afternoon when we were there, and I counted the seats. There's 500 seats. And they do a good job. They're all full. But we were better than they were, so I'm going to say it was okay.
Yeah.
I know, yesterday, Germ was falling all over the place.
Oh man, on the power play, I was like, "Holy cow, Bambi!"
How about,
Did he leave his skate guards on,
I think he did. I went down and asked him, and I kid you not.
or did Jay sharpen his skates?
No. I literally said, "Hey, bud, I've been watching you for the last 3 games. It ain't the skates." And I literally did. I walked down, and I said, "Come on, Germ, like you're better than that." Because that kid is one hell of a hockey player.
Absolutely,
He's a big horse of a human being, and he can play. But he gets like that every, 1 in 8.
which isn't bad if that's what you're getting.
1 in 8, right?
It's better than 1 in 2.
And so the previous shift before, he did it in the neutral zone.
Yeah.
Well, then he comes out and does it on the power play, and the entire crowd started laughing. So
Same with the broadcasters. It was awesome.
So to answer your question, it's not a bad environment. I mean, the two worst environments in the history of hockey are Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, and Odessa. Sorry, Odessa. But it's just, Scotty, you know I ain't lying. Wow. And
bleep, bleep.
sorry, Scott. But there's a lot of decent spots. I mean, Lone Star's good. I mean, certain nights Corpus Christi gets 6,000. So there's a lot of good spots to play. Really.
Well, Alec, when you travel, do you see good crowds as well, or?
Some better than others. Obviously, like Brahmas do well. New Mexico did pretty good for the first weekend that we were there.
You go back there again?
We go back in February for another
you'll get
two-game
them then.
set. So that'll be good. We haven't been to Louisiana yet. We haven't been.
Louisiana
to
does.
Cities. We haven't been to
Louisiana's a
Austin.
fun trip, man.
So yeah, we got
some
home
awesome-
this
what town are
weekend,
they out
and
of?
we're on the road for 4. So.
Lafayette.
Lafayette. Ooh.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, we're there next
LSU's
weekend.
there.
and they're fans there. Like I usually make the trip. I probably won't make it this year, but they don't get a lot of fans. They probably get a couple 200-300 in there, and it's very small. The venue is very, very small, but they're right on top of you. And it doesn't matter if you're on their team, our team, if you're a peanut vendor or referee, they're all over you in the funniest ways. Their chirps are hilarious.
That's how it was when it was the Cajun Catahoulas
you know,
back
and
in the Western
they're
States
so
days.
they're so
The Cajun
like they're so
Catahoulas.
nice. They're nice people, but it's comical. I love the chirp.
crawfish at you.
I love the chirps.
Hey,
man.
we got to have a shout out here. I know you're the host, but we got to have a shout out to professional goaltender Eddie Fritz.
Yeah.
Did you hear that? He e-bugged.
Yeah, no, I
And I talked to him yesterday.
Somebody sent me a
and
picture.
He
He's like,
with him today. I'm waiting to hear from him. Make sure he threw a 2-ped stack out.
so what, the first, whatever, a week ago or 2 weeks ago, whenever he was the first time.
Yeah.
So he's sitting, he's still cutting video, and he's got his pads on. So he's in the conference room.
Yeah.
And he's cutting video. It's like, this is my first, second period, and third period, I
got
jumped
to
on
go.
the bench. I was
That's what he told me.
I'm
on
like,
the-
what?
on the texter last night? That's what he told me. He said that he
So
said-
shenanigans on all levels, right?
Oh, my
it doesn't
God.
matter, right?
Yeah,
and
well-
I'm not saying shenanigans, but you know what I mean.
No, it's shenanigans. 100%. I mean, you played enough pro games. I mean, how many times your bus driver played for you?
Oh, man.
I can tell you.
How many times I drive the bus?
Exactly.
Right?
Hey, I didn't know. I thought that was awesome. I thought that was awesome.
Fritzy.
I told him I had to go to his boss and say, I want 1 minute. Just
Did he
one.
get to play?
No, not yet.
Well, he should tell the starter, like, hey, man, you owe me here, man. Because
Yeah,
I've
if
cut some
it's
good
4-1
video on
with
you.
a minute left, you gotta have a
I asked him if
sore
he was going
groin.
to get a pair of green pads, neon green.
So, player coach Eddie Fritz.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, Reg Dunlop, how you doing? Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah,
I
that was
remember
great.
it was my first year with the Buzzards. When I've told you guys this story before, and I'm more of a center ice north kind of guy.
Yeah, yeah.
Not really good in the back check, and it wasn't in my contract. Just more
Yeah.
the other way.
75
we're
and Pape over here.
Yeah. Did you read that?
Yeah, I did.
Because it's everywhere.
It's in the hockey news.
So we were playing here, and it was sold out, and we were up, I don't know, maybe 5-6-1. A couple guys got tossed, and back then you only had 17 guys on
Yeah.
your roster, right? That's all they could afford to pay. And a couple of our D are out. Coaches comes down line, who wants to play D? I'm like, I do. So I was out there with Rob Haddock. I was -2 on one shift. Come back to the bench. Coach is like, that will be the last time you play defense. I'm like, perfect. I just want to show you my skills.
That's
it was pretty
awesome.
fun.
-2 in one shift.
Oh yeah, Rob Haddock. Did you ever play against him?
Rob Haddock.
He was all over me. He's like, why are you chasing the guy behind the net? I'm like,
It
thought it was a good
carried.
idea.
It wasn't passed.
I thought I had him. I thought I had him. But Eddie Fritz, yeah, that's good for him.
Were you the one that told me that?
Yeah, maybe.
That he e-bugged?
Yeah.
Because I told the guys on the bus
Somebody
last
t-
night.
did you
I
tell- you
think I
told me,
you,
right?
Yeah.
Was it you and I?
Maybe I don't remember. I know.
I don't know who told me. I just know that.
Nikki told me or something, and then I saw it on Instagram.
Well, then there's
I
a
can't
picture of him.
remember.
Somebody sent me a picture of him, and he was all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I,
Was
I,
that-
yeah,
yeah.
I took a screenshot. On
Yeah,
that.
that was
the one where he's in the
Yeah.
corner? Just
Yeah, mid zone. I think. I don't know. He's.
was it in warm up?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I didn't get it took me a minute to figure out what was going on because I think whoever sent me the picture, I'm like, is that Eddie? That's Eddie. And then next thing you know, Eddie sends me a picture of him in the conference room cutting video, but
He's
I
in
can
his.
see his pads, and I'm like, what is going on? And then he's like, yeah, I went to the bench on the third.
Just in case they needed him.
It's like, oh,
Never know.
Well, I remember we had one my very first year. Corey Bricknell and his brother was coming to the game. He's from Oshawa. We were playing in Toledo, and our guy got called up. Like the bus literally stopped, and he had to get off the bus, and somebody picked him up, went the other way, and we were going. So we needed a backup goalie, and Corey Brickham's brother did it. And I just remember in warm up that we were just throwing muffins, like from the blue line. Just and here comes his brother, like top of the hash mark, just killing him.
Well, why wouldn't you?
Take advantage.
It's like,
funny.
I'm going to get you.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Anyway,
But so kind of back, Alec. So this weekend, 3 against Mid-Cities. How are you preparing the guys? Because, standings are one thing, but the reality is they just came off and they beat the Brahmas.
I mean, we can't look past them. There's no doubt about that. They've beat Atlanta, they beat Brahmas this weekend, so we got to come, focused like it's any other team playoff game. We got to be ready. We need as many wins going through, the rest of the season as possible to, hopefully get some home ice advantage.
So going into this week of practice, you practiced today and you did a little skill work, some skating, whatnot. But so going into Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, what is the game plan? Battle, compete.
Yeah. So tomorrow's going to be a battle compete day. Wednesday is going to be a lot of systems. We're going to be focused on our D zone, neutral zone because we struggled on that.
Because the power play needs some work.
And then the power play will be all day Thursday.
Yeah.
And we're changing it up. We're going to be throwing something new.
Shoot it.
Shoot it. Put it on net.
Dude,
I wonder how many times how many times I said that this
I've got a
weekend.
solution for both sides, both teams. And Joe, you know this probably better than he does. What flex of stick are these guys using? Because you see it passing and it's like, you got to be kidding me.
the throw.
That's
It bobbles.
40.
Yeah, but
it's terrible.
Like I
sorry.
pick him up. I'm sitting in the hallway yesterday. I'm looking at this stick, and I look down the stick, and I was just like, I put a little weight on it, and I'm just like, you gotta be kidding me. Like this kid gets one shot a game, and he's using a 77 flex, and he's 195 pounds. But that one shot he gets is going to be 200 mile an hour. But the other
3
4
feet
get
wide,
blocked. Yeah, exactly.
coming around our own
like
net.
They don't look at a hockey stick in today's game like it should be treated like a Swiss Army knife. Like, hey, I take face-offs. I need to pick pucks up off the wall. Everything is, offense, and I'm going to
Well,
score.
They
And
see the
it's not
graphics of Connor Bedard taking a shot, and you see the boomerang, and they're like, "Oh, well, I want that."
Yeah.
I don't know. Like,
Guys are making fun of my curve on practice on Friday, and it's pretty much straight.
I just skip out on the A, score one on the goalie, and call her good.
Well, that's all you need to do.
Take me 2 shots.
that's why I don't go
straight.
there anymore. I don't want to
Sidney
embarrass
Crosby.
anybody.
I just stand out in front of the net and it hits me.
Slap shot from the hash mark, bar down. Thanks for coming out, Juice Boy.
You know what? You'll get him when it matters most. I firmly believe that. I know it's hard. You got a good team, and you know it's hard to lose. Do I ever? But also you'll be firing all cylinders when it matters most.
And that's the thing. We're in a position, both sides. NA3, we're in a really good position, right?
Absolutely,
And
absolutely.
you got some games this second half are kind of in our favor, so to speak.
We did say that about the showcase.
That's
so
true.
Let's not jump ahead of anything.
Right.
So I don't
see,
have
and that-
clear
that's-
learned our
lists in
lesson.
4
Yeah,
weeks,
so,
and-
so anyway,
we thought
Didn't
it was
we
gonna
just
be
talk
easy
about
for 4
this?
weeks. Yeah. What happened?
but no, but it does. Like Joe, you're at home a lot more in the second half, and Alec, you're kind of flip flop a little bit. But schedule is more in our favor, so to speak. And it starts this weekend. I anticipate this place being pretty busy again.
I sure hope so.
I don't like to say that because knock on wood, but it'll be good.
It'll be good for sure.
I'd rather play better teams. I think we as coaches have a harder job
Oh yeah.
against teams that aren't, because you're the one that knows. Hey guys, we can't take this lightly, and you just feel like you're begging right before the puck even drops. It's like you can tell your guys are semi-focused, and it's like, guys, come on.
I'm always more nervous
Yeah,
when
me
we
too.
don't play.
You're
Going into
playing
New
Lone
Mexico, I was
Star or-
confident.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
this week you never know.
Like I knew Friday night when we won that Saturday night, they were going to empty the tank, and they did. And it was a good hockey game, but we found a way. Sunday, some penalties and whatever, but that it is what it is. But it's just tougher. I really do think that.
Big time.
So you got Mid-Cities this weekend. Then the following you go to Louisiana. And then what after that? I can't think that far ahead.
We come back for a couple days of practice, then we're off to Austin, and then we're back for a couple days, and then we go to Mid-Cities, and then back for a home weekend. on the road for Roadrunners, and then playoffs.
Playoffs, right? Right around the corner, really. Second half.
When do your playoffs start?
And first week.
Second week of March. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So there might be a change to our schedule. We just had a conversation, but like not a big one, but just a change in the weekend, so to speak. But
Yeah, did we make up that game yet?
no, we need to talk about that.
You've talked to him? Okay.
I've talked to him, but
Okay.
we'll talk. And then Joe, for you, you're off this weekend, which
Win
is
9
good
in
and
a
bad.
row, now we get an off week.
Which is good and bad because the bugs floating around the guys.
Yeah.
which is a good thing.
I feel terrible right this
Get
second.
some time off. I appreciate you coming in.
Yeah.
I can't wait to feel it next week. Great.
That's exactly what. And literally, Frankie,
And that's it.
Frankie and the Blankie, Luke Lindsay, James Hooley, Joey Lavula. That's why Joey Lavula didn't play Saturday or Sunday. He wasn't up to it. It's going around. So I think that was even more impressive. We got through it because I know there were some guys that, and being at 6,200 feet. So it was there.
And then Joe, some big news in my opinion. We just had this conversation off air. Top prospects coming up. Any news you want to share? Well, I know you're not a pat yourself on the back kind of guy, but here we are.
So so how it works is it goes off the number of players per division per team play for a division. I don't know. I wouldn't call it an all-star. It's prospects, right? But it's a better way of. So the first place team gets 4, second place team gets 4, third place, fourth place team each get 3, and then fifth and fifth, right?
I think the least is 2.
Yeah, 5 and 6 get 2, and then the other divisions go to an at-large. It goes off winning percentage. We're in second place, but our winning percentage is a couple points less than Shreveport. So Dan Wildfong and Soupy Campbell will coach that team. We'll have 3 players. Who they are at this point will be up to those guys. But usually it's our 20-year-olds who go. So they'll go to Pittsburgh, and then myself and RA from Amarillo are going to coach the NHL Central Scouting team. So
which is awesome.
Yeah.
So congratulations on that.
Thank
you know what I
you.
mean?
I have to go there and work, though.
That's good. I get to go there and sit in the meeting.
Yeah, I got to work. That's no fun. I was just going to sit there and talk to people for 2 days, and now I have to work.
You'll still talk. You'll still talk on the bench, I'm sure. Are you going to bench anybody?
You know what? I just got thinking.
I'm going to go with
the kid that we played. Who did we play last weekend? Oh, in Colorado. That kid. I don't know how to pronounce his last name.
He's pretty good though.
Yeah,
sniped a
yeah,
couple.
Yeah. He's really good. He'll be on that team, I would assume. Goalie, big kid. He was really good. He was the only reason we didn't beat them by more than one. But he was really good. So it gives us a little bit of an idea of what's out there. It's a fun event. It always has been. I've been lucky enough to be a part of it here a bunch over my career in this league, and I think we're off the weekend before too. Are we?
No, I don't think you are.
Oh no, we're home, and then
you're
fly.
home because I take off. I'm going to miss Friday, I'll miss Saturday, Sunday,
and then we fly out.
You fly out. Probably
and then we're
Monday.
off the next one. No. What's February 6th, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're not off till the end of February.
So my meeting is on the 4th, which is a Sunday.
Okay.
So, and you know how it is with the travel. I got to leave the day before because I won't make
tough.
it.
Yeah.
So I'll miss Saturday's game and Sundays, and then you'll leave Monday morning, I think.
Yes. Yeah. So it'll be
whatever
it's a good event. There's everybody in, college hockey and a lot of pros that are there looking at your players, and I've seen it. I've seen it work before, and very much in favor of a 20-year-old. And there was one school there this weekend, which I was really happy to see. Geographically, where we're at, we see a lot of teams on the road, so they can see multiple players and teams in one. So it gives our players a really good chance to play in front of if the school needs something or. So it's an exciting time for them, and I know they want to go. So we'll see of the 4 20-year-olds on our team who gets picked, and they'll go represent us and themselves very well.
That's good. Yeah, it's fun, and it's we got the notification or the email today about it, so it's pretty exciting, and just happy that we got some guys involved in it, player wise and coaching wise, and it's a good event that's put on. So NA3 does something similar. which is good.
I think it's the same as the Fraser Cup in St. Louis this year.
So hopefully, and they'll do the standing lock. Obviously, I don't know if they do it.
When do they do that? Because I got an email last week thing. And I totally forgot it. Mikey called me this morning.
Yeah.
And said, hey, we got to submit this list. And we could talk to Heon. I said, well, I'll see Heon in 20 minutes. But I think we're good with the 20-year-olds. I wish it wasn't that way. I really do. But these 20-year-olds, it's their last crack. These other kids, Tori Lund's going to be a Division I player. There's a couple other younger kids they're going to be Division I players. These other kids have been working towards this, and it's sort of their last hurrah. So I'd like to see the best players go to it.
Yeah.
Not that these kids aren't good. That's not what I'm saying. They're wonderful in their own right, but I'd like to see a really
But
it is an NHL team that that's the best young players in the league.
And it's a developmental league, so I see why they do it.
Oh, for sure.
And it's the same thing with the NA3, right? It's the same. And that's, like you said, Fraser Cup weekend. No, it's before that.
I could be.
I can't
right.
remember exactly.
I thought it was the Combine, Fraser Cup, and Top Prospects all the same. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I can't remember what it is, but it obviously happens.
Yeah.
And it's the same type of thing. So,
definitely,
if we keep rolling where we're going, you'll probably have 3 or 4 guys in there, and you might even end up on the ballot yourself. So.
Hey, I hope those guys, more the merrier, right?
Yeah, and that's what it's about.
So definitely
I wish you
could. More about those
I wish
guys.
you could bench somebody.
Well, I
because I've wanted to. You know why?
Is there a rule book saying you can't?
No, but they're not going to listen
Coombs
to you.
Rule, though.
No, because
like the other ones that are like.
So are you given like, okay, this is what you need to do? You need to roll 4 or whatever it is in 60 and.
We go to the goalies.
Every goalie gets
we go to the goalies, and I'm sure, I don't. It'll be interesting. I'll have to talk to RA or whoever, but we go to the goalies and say, do you want to play a full game or do you want to play half and half? It's up to them. And then the defensemen, we roll lines for power play units if there isn't any power plays, which there isn't very many. We don't do anything. But the thing that upsets me is how long they stay on the ice.
Oh, probably 2
because it's not an all-star game. You're trying to work for people in the stands. Some of the players stay on the ice for a minute and a half, and other kids aren't. So now you're screwed up, and you got, I remember that a few years back, going back. I don't know, it was probably 4 or 5 years. The kids from New Jersey, I wanted to bench them all.
Yeah, but
it pissed me off.
Well, yeah, I hear you.
But no, I would never do that.
Like Joe, why'd you pull the goalie? Well, he's let in 7 in the period. Well, okay.
Oh, well, see, there's another situation.
Right?
Like how do you, you don't know that young man like you know your own goalie. So if he does do that, what do you do?
Yeah. Does he want to come out? Does he want?
You just hope to get through the
Right.
period and then take him aside at the end of the period and be like, hey, dude, you okay? Or, you feel like because you want to rescue the kid. That's
sure.
part of our job is to protect these kids. And let's hope that doesn't happen.
Yeah, right. Hopefully it's a 3-2 game.
Yeah, just let's roll them, boys. We'll stand
guys are
there
doing
and we'll drink some
35,
Mountain
45
Dew and
seconds
get all
and-
hopped up and
Share some water after the game.
yeah.
But it'll be a good event, and so that's coming up, which is great. So
That's February 6th, right?
Yeah.
6th?
Is it at the UMPC or what?
Yeah,
That's-
it's a beautiful facility.
it is.
And
It's great.
it's a good location, too.
Oh, there's hotels there. There's restaurants and all that good stuff there. It's a nice area.
Plymouth was good. Pittsburgh's really good. Boston was terrible.
It's just
Sorry,
so busy
Brian.
there.
Oh, it was hard to get to. You couldn't get everybody in the rink. The rink wasn't big enough. But that's in the past.
So this weekend coming up, guys, obviously the expectation is to do better than last weekend and get some points out of it and whatnot. Joe, you're off. Guys will have some time to heal and get a little bit better. So this coming weekend, obviously 3-3, Alec, should be good.
Yeah,
I'm going to be here rooting you on.
We're gonna
know that.
We're gonna be ready. They're gonna be ready, and if they're not, it's gonna be, rough go. But I'm not losing 3 games at home. I'm not losing. I don't like losing here. We never did when I played here. I don't like it. So give the fans a show. Hopefully this weekend, and put the puck in the back of the net and stick to the systems and win some hockey games.
That's good. And then Joe, obviously you're off. time to heal, get a little bit better health wise, get some guys some rest, and then
we're gonna practice every day. Like
Yeah.
we're gonna keep them going. We're gonna do one thing every day and then let them have some fun. And then we're gonna install some different stuff we have in some face-off plays and stuff like that this week, and get some more detail into our game. And then next week we'll go back to work. So.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you guys jumping on again, and we'll see you around the rink, fellas.
Thanks, brother.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we have Mike McCreary here. So, Mike, how are you, bud?
I'm good, Heon. Appreciate you having me on here, bud. Pretty great start.
It's been, as you know, you've been with the organization for a couple of years, different levels. We've wanted to do something like this, and here we are, finally putting some effort behind it. So, welcome.
Yeah, no, it's a podcast world out there, right? And I think it's a neat thing to get into. I know there's not a lot out there at our level across North America, but gives the fans and different people some insight, and kind of keeps our community close. The support we have down there is already second to none, but I think this is a great branch, if you will, to give us some exposure and just share some neat information all behind the scenes, kind of like like the hard knocks with the NFL and things like that.
Right. Our first episode was obviously last week, and we had Joe and Alec on, the coaches from both teams, and we had Corey Herman, our owner, who was up in Seattle doing a little take up there. And I thought it was really, really cool. We got a lot of positive feedback. And I think as we continue to move this boat, I think it's going to become bigger and better, hopefully, locally. And we've just gotten a lot of support. So it's awesome. I appreciate you coming on, and let's just jump right into it, Mike. So give us a little bit of background about, obviously you personally, how you kind of got involved with the game from many years ago, and your history and how you are today.
Yeah, sure. I'd love to share that. So 21 years ago, I grew up playing hockey like most guys here, especially in organization. I was born in Canada, and I moved to the U.S. 21 years ago this winter. It was actually this September, and I was on the officiating side. I was not a very good hockey player. I think I had scored 2 goals in my life, and they both went off my butt. So it led me to the U.S. I started refereeing in the National Junior Development Program, and they recruit officials like they do players. So I was fortunate enough to start there, and I started out in the USHL and worked a little bit in the North American League. And I was coming out of Canada already as a American League official and a guy from the OHL. So I kind of already had a good, hold on those levels, and coming to Tier 1 in the U.S. was pretty exciting. And then over the years, I worked different levels. And then I actually bumped into you guys on one of my visits down there, and it led to a couple Thorn Cups. I believe that was a 16-17, 17-18 season. Yeah. It was kind of on the back nine, if you will, of my officiating career. I had some injuries that had me take some setbacks, and then that was kind of my swan song. So working in the Western States League was a lot of fun. Got to meet a lot of great people, and obviously adventured a few different corners I hadn't been to with hockey. And being down in El Paso really opened my eyes. And I think everyone that has gone through this experience wondering like, geez, this is a hockey place? And then you get down there and you're blown away, right? Like the passion the community shares with the organization, the support they give never mind in the Sun Belt or different areas, it's just second to none. I think, I don't know if we sell out every game, Heo, but geez, it's close to it. I think we average close to 1,900 fans a game. That's a pretty strong average.
No, it's pretty good.
Meeting you guys and seeing how you ran the program, when I finished my officiating career, I jumped into hockey operations, and I was a volunteer scout for the Waterloo Blackhawks in the USHL. Learned a ton down there, and along those travels, you start building your networks and learning that side of the game. So when we were awarded a North American League team 4 years ago, we got the NA3 team first, of course. And I began that season as a regional scout for El Paso, and I was in the Midwest. I'm based out of Minnesota, and that's where I've been here for 7 years now with my family. I have a 10-year-old son, Jack, and my wife, Jamie. We love it up here, but it was really unique because I was helping the organization from afar, but you're in a hockey pool up here that is just buzzing. So it's important in our level and that you have, you know, a really feel for all the hockey pools and hotbeds across the country and in Canada. So obviously a lot going on here. And as that grew, with multiple staffs, I was fortunate enough to be asked to be the director of scouting last year. And so that was great. Got to do even more. Then we brought in Steve Jennings. And between Joe and Brownie, and you mentioned Fritzy the other day, I mean, we have such an amazing group to support all the way down from Herm and yourself. You know, our medical staff was Zeus and our equipment guy, Dr. Jay Sharp. It's an amazing group, so I'm fortunate to be a part of it. And then in this off season with Steve's departure to Air Force, you guys approached me about the opportunity and if I was interested in the fit, then I was lucky enough to accept. So yeah, that's where we're at now. And you know, throughout the season, there's sort of different stages, how we start to structure our team during the year, and then it starts to go into next year, as you know, with the tender period starting in November. And now we're really at a stage where we're seeing what exactly we could possibly have with our group moving forward. As you know, we just came off a sweep of New Mexico, puts us at a 9-game win streak, 23 wins on the year, already 4 better than last year. And I know this year we weren't just about, you know, surpassing that. We knew we were going to make a pretty big step, but we have higher goals that we do every year. You know, we always try and better our organization on a daily basis, and that begins with adding the right people, right? And people forget about that sometimes. Is you can be the fastest kid out there and have the best shot out there, but we're always after the right people. So there's a lot of digging. There's a lot of vetting of these individuals with their past coaches, current coaches. So there's just a lot of travel involved. You want to see these people live. Camera doesn't do it justice. There's a lot of video out there, but getting to meet these people and expressing your desire and getting to know what kind of a person they are, shaking their hand, talking to their coach. So that's what I'm up to right now. And we have a scouting staff that's spread out over the United States. We have guys out in New England and in Michigan. We have guys here. So we're all over, and we all do our own part, but I know you watch players. I know Joe watches players. I know Brownie does. And, you know, we all try and build this up together and share opinions and try and make hard decisions on who the right guys are moving forward.
Yeah, well, and that's just it. Like, you know, get the right personnel, and you know, it's taken a little bit to be where we're at. You know, staffing wise, personnel wise. You know, just kind of everything that goes with it. You know, I remember the Western States League and back when Thorn Cup days when you were here when we first met, and I'll kind of go back to that. You know, people like to hear some of the behind the scenes stuff, right? So, you know, when you came into town and you know, our first impression was like, who's this guy? You know, McCreary, who does he think he is? Right now, I'm just teasing Mike, but you know, you were always an official that was so knowledgeable of the game and an understanding of again the game, and you know, letting the players play and being fair both ways. And that's the one thing that I've always admired about you is the professionalism that you had brought to the game as an official. The way you took it, your appearance when you arrived, your warm up, your just overall ambience, your professionalism was awesome. And you know, that I think that's what drew us to you, because you were just that guy. You were just, you know, likable person. And then the relationship continued, and you know, beyond that, and you know, meeting your family and having Jack down here and getting him all swagged up and some Rhino stuff, and you know, that relationship kept on going. And then, you know, as we progressed, you know, our paths continued to cross, and here we are. And for those, like when we brought in Steve Jennings as our general manager, when we made some personnel change, we thought that was great, because everybody, including, you know, Herman and myself and everybody on board, yourself, kind of learned a lot from Steve in that short period of time that he was here before he moved on to bigger and better things. And then immediately when that conversation was had with me when he moved on, he's like, Mike McCreary is the guy. And we kind of knew that anyway. And I remember having a conversation with you as I'm driving to Canada, cross country through wherever I was going, and just, we got to make this happen. And fortunately we did. And I honestly, Mike, and I'm not just telling you this because I'm talking to you, but it was probably the best decision on so many levels, just because of the character that you bring and the person that you are. And not to say nobody else is like that, but just knowing you and behind the scenes, it's awesome. And then, when we come out to the showcase, this September, and, how you had the guys over, and just, you're so warming to the guys, and it's a great fit for our organization. And we're thankful to have you on board. So we appreciate that.
Yeah, I forgot about that. I do. I know we started the year in Colorado on the road, and then we were heading from there to the showcase, and you guys have always been great about not letting us do whatever we want, but you knew that we'd make good decisions to do what we needed to do. So I got myself out to Colorado here to start the season with the team. I thought that was important. Being in Minnesota, you have that element of you're removed from the team day to day. So I love being with my family. I'm fortunate enough to do that. I know Joe can't do that. Brownie's is down with him, but his parents aren't, and things like that. And you did it once upon a time. But bringing the guys in here, yeah. So I started the year out in Colorado with the team. That was a great experience. Joe always gets a kick out of having us on the bench because you learn a lot more there too. You see what makes the players tick. You see how they react to situations. You see their attitudes. You see Joe and Brownie's approach to their leadership and their instruction during the game. But I just mentioned to you guys we were out there just at the start of August, finished our training camp, and just said, hey, my wife and I would really like to do this. And you thought it was a great idea. We had to wait till the schedule dropped, and things worked out. We had the afternoon game against Janesville, leading up to the game against the Team USA. And so we had the guys over here after the NCAA seminar, and we had meatballs and chicken and salad.
Awesome.
And the bus pulled up in front of the house, and off this bus strolls 25 kids in suits. I couldn't figure it out. I was like, why are you guys in your tracksuits or sweats or something? And they all want to make a good impression. I met them all. I knew them all, and it was, you were here, and the whole staff was, and we just relaxed. It was just getting away from the hotels, being together. And I'm not sure it was any element of getting anything started, but our group is really close. We knew that in Michigan. We knew that in El Paso at training camp. We knew we had a different group of players, and just the way they cared about each other and about that crest over their chest. So it was great. They had a blast. We went in and played the next night and ended the showcase, but it was really neat. And you touched on having Jack down to El Paso. He still wears that hat because I think when Herm gave it to him, it was four sizes too big, but he still wears it to this day. He's got a toque that he wears to school every day. The top prospects event last year, he was our water boy. This year for the NA3 showcase and our showcase, he came in and gave Jay a help. But that's kind of who we are, right? Like we're a tight group. We're family orientated. All the guys look out for themselves and each other, and like the way you guys have always treated my family, the players treated my family. It was, every kid to a man shook my hand and thanked them for the meal here at my place, and they've all been good to Jack. Jack actually uses a broken stick from Ryan Ginger. He plays hockey. He's in Squirts this year, and I thought it was a fun joke with Ryan was I grabbed the stick out of the trash can, and it was broken about tape high, right up by his hands. So Jack's just 10, 4 foot, and so he starts using the stick, and Ryan didn't have a lot of luck early in the year. And I think we were 6 games in, and he'd been playing hard, but Jack, his first game, he had 5 goals with that stick, and then it was like 4 goals and 3 goals and then 4 again. So I called Ryan and just said, it's not the stick that's the problem, bud.
Exactly.
He took it lightly. Yeah, he
That's
took
funny.
it lightly. So he's continued on, but like now Ryan reaches out every once in a while and wants to know how Jack's doing. You know what I mean? And if he needs another stick. So, just a little
That's
insight
awesome.
to how our guys are built.
And that's kind of what the organization is like. For those that have been, like, we've been around for 16, 17 years, whatever that number is. And, when, Herm was a coach for many of those years and with the Western States for all those teams. And, we don't have an abundance of staff, right? Like we have handful of core staff that are here, like, and then we have our game time staff. But, at any given time, you're going to find, Corey Herman cleaning the ice or myself or just picking up duties when we have to. And then that goes the same with the coaches and the players. It's just kind of the organization that we are. There's nothing more important than the logo and how we started back in day one when we, the first team with Alex Sherman here, when they dressed in a circus tent in the corner with a diesel heater, which was probably against so many regulations on so many different levels, but that's just kind of what we did. And it just to what we are now. This isn't a beautiful facility. It's not, a stadium or a coliseum or anything like that, but it's an awesome junior rink that we pack, I'd say probably 95% of the time. We had 2 NA3 games this past weekend, Friday and Saturday. Unfortunately, we came up short, but the place was sold out on Saturday and it was almost there on Friday. And this is, the weekend before going back to school, so to speak. So the support that we get and just, the fans and the players and everybody just buys into it. And it's an awesome place to be. Once you're here, the players love it here. The staff love it here, and it's just, we make it work on so many different levels and ways. And everyone just buys into it, man.
Yeah. And I think everyone's taken the approach of you do what it takes, and because you want to improve the organization. I never forget the second time I ever walked in that arena. The first time I walked in that arena, the linesman was late picking me up at the hotel.
Weird.
And
You officials, man.
it was a little helter skelter. Got in there, right before game time, got ready, everything was good. But the second time I walked in there, I was there early, and there's a guy I recognized driving the Zamboni. And I was thinking to myself, that was a freaking coach last night. Like, what's going on, right? Well, he zams the ice, I run around. I remember, meeting you down in the offices, just getting game day stuff together. I mean, you do what you do what it takes. You pick up the slack. Like you said, we don't have a massive staff by any means, but everyone does their job, does it hard, and does it well. I stayed in touch with the off ice officials. Get an email from them, get a text message, and say hello. It's who they are, and I think it's who we all are. There's no one above anyone else. Everyone has a job to do, and
Yeah.
I know Joe has used this terminology in camp before, but it takes a village, and you have your role.
Like I remember when we first started, Mike, in year 1 and year 2, we didn't our youth program was just taking off. We just started. We didn't have a referee association. So I was like, shoot, well, I'll do it. We didn't have anybody. So I did the certification. I was the guy certifying guys. And I probably called 3 no-hitters in my career too. I'm like, let's just play. Unless it's, and that's true. That's an honest, true statement that there was at least 2 for sure, no-hitters. And it was just like games were like 2 hours and 12 minutes. None of this 2 hours and 40 anymore. Let's just roll. Let's get it over with. But, we had some local guys as well, like buddies of ours, like, hey, you guys need to get certified because we don't have referees. And, Paul Rohde, Mike Bike, those guys, or Rod Bike, I should say, those guys were some of the original guys back in the day. And just everybody in the community just kind of helps, and whatever we need to get done, we do. And we're grateful for that.
The special place, it really is. Those guys, Paul Rhodes, Rod Bike, those guys we worked together.
Yeah.
So some great
characters,
games,
man.
exciting times. I was down there. What's that?
I said they're characters.
Oh,
Absolute characters, man. Absolute characters. So just real quick, Mike, I know we're kind of going to wrap things up here, but season 1, not so good. Season 2, better. Season 3, here we are. What do you contribute, I guess, the progression, the success we've had so far this year versus, in the past? I know it takes a little bit of time to get things rolling, but what do you see as being the biggest factor for this? There's many.
Well, there's a lot of parts, but I think a lot has to do with the players. Like you got to have the kids want to be here.
Yeah.
And I think once they experience it,
By
when
no
guys
means
come
am I
down,
saying-
And that because we won 22 or 23 games that we're the best thing since sliced bread. Not what I'm saying, but it's the most wins we've had in history. So
yeah, and I think there's just, in the last 2 years, we were viewed a certain way. I don't think people mailed it in, but we weren't going to be a tough weekend. When you lose more than you win for a couple years running, you kind of get that in this league. So in all leagues, but we knew we were going to get off the bus as a better club this year. So we were hoping for more success, but once we got to meet our guys and figure out who they were, we knew that, our core and a lot of our guys that were in, they were here for all the right reasons.
Yeah.
And we have a group of kids that care. We have a staff that works really hard and cares about those players, whether it be our building system, our off ice crew. Like everyone does a lot to try and support these guys. But yeah, third year team, you like there's a learning curve, and I think that's top to bottom. Like you and Herm coming from the Western States League, building this thing from scratch. And now here we are, you're in North American League, it's different. There's a lot of different factors, whether it's, how you can get players, where they can come from, restrictions, eligibility, all that stuff. And then you turn into a team that has D1 commits. You have kids going to D3 college. You have constantly people calling me and emailing me this season, wanting our guys.
that's awesome.
Like you mentioned, Tyler Deloach. I mean, she's working the National Hockey League for the Seattle Kraken now, right? Like, I mean, Eddie Fritz goes up and he's working pro hockey this year in the East Coast League. So it's a development league on different levels, right? But our success this year, we have a great group. We have some talented kids, but like they work really hard for each other. And Joe does a heck of a job with his experience and Brownie's experience in their relationship, leading back, I think 8 or 10 years they've been together. So they have a lot to share with these guys. And we have a group that's willing to learn this year and wants to learn and get better. And it's not about personal agendas. So, all the guys are going to end up in different places and have their own path. But right now it's here and together. And they're all excited to go into battle for each other.
Yeah.
So I know Joe used a term going through this process of me getting hired was, I want you in my foxhole. I want to go to war with you. Right.
Yeah.
And we really have a group like that. So the players will do it. They're grateful for what we provide. And I think we're grateful for when they bring it, and it's been more often than not this year. Like I said, we've had some learning curves. We're going to lose games, but when you do, you want to lose in the right way. We want the guys emptying the tank every night, giving it their all, and not taking nights off. And I'm proud of our group. I'm proud of our players. We have a lot more depth this year. We have some really good experienced goaltending. And you say that, but you're still super young. Like we have 1804s on the roster right now.
Yeah.
And not a big group of returners.
Yeah, that's, it sums it up pretty good, Mike. It's takes, like you said before, it takes a village, man. And right from, trainer to equipment guy to players, coaching staff, yourself, everybody involved. So I appreciate you taking the time for jumping on, Mike. I know it's busy out there. We're a little delayed on the time a bit, but I appreciate it. We'll certainly talk again. We'll definitely have you on, and I'll talk to you a little bit later today, bud. Have a good day, man.
Great. Well, I appreciate you having me on and sharing this, and I had a great time. So thanks for having me, Heon.
All right, bud. Take care, man.
Thanks, you as well.
Thank you for watching today's show. Please subscribe, like, and follow. We'll see you next time.